Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Ford Master, and welcome back to another overly sarcastic productions reaction, and it's another Fables and Folktales, the Great Zodiac Race. So yeah, out of all of the Fables and Folktales videos that they've put out so far, at least the ones I've done reactions to, this is the first one I actually know something about, like I have heard of it before. The Great Zodiac Race, as you know, the name shows, is that it's the story of how the Chinese zodiac was like put together in like the order it has, you know, by the animals. I myself am a year of the pig. My dad's a bull, I think if I remember correctly, and both my mom and my brother are dragons. Other than that, like, I love to say it's been a while since I've heard it, so I don't exactly remember all of it. But I mean, hey, the video is here, and why not get a bit of a refresher? Also, a thing about the Chinese zodiac that not a lot of people know is that I don't know what you'd call it, like the way it cycles in like four, what you'd call it, like the zodiac itself, like going from beginning to end. That's not just it. There's also like four other phases it goes through. There's like, you know, it has the four classical elements, you know, earth, fire, water, air, and then so each time the zodiac goes through, it's in one of those, so it can actually be like a while before you get back to your true like zodiac year, because actually thinking about it, what was the full thing of 1995? Because actually thinking about it, all I really know is that it's a year of the pig. Like, was it earth pig, fire pig, what was it? Oh, never mind, it wasn't the four classical elements. Wood pig? Oh, okay, so I didn't know. Yeah, so granted, as I said before, it's been a while since I heard anything about the Chinese zodiac, so I've kind of forgotten what the patterns were. I could have sworn it was like the four classical elements, but apparently it's not. So I'm a wood pig, as it would seem. So yeah, I guess let's get into this then. So of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, and with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
I love how many calendars we have access to now.
A lot, yeah.
Like a calendar is a ridiculously useful tool for any given society to have. Lets you keep track of all sorts of important things, like birthdays and eclipses and your many long years plotting vengeance in the Chateau d'If. But now that we've had all this cross-cultural contact, everyone's been comparing notes, and we've got tons of calendars rattling around, and layers of significance stacked on every day of the year. For instance, back in the tail end of January, you might have heard we were going into the Year of the Dragon, and thought, like any sensible person, holy shit, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. This is according to the calendar of the Chinese zodiac, a 12-year cycle where every year is associated with an animal.
Oh, it's 12 years,
things,
okay,
the year you're born in has a zodiac animal associated and a whole suite of extra meanings attached. Now, as a card-carrying astrology disliker, it may come as a surprise that I'm actually very fond of the idea of assigning meaning and context to specific dates and times. Especially when I was a kid, I got a huge kick out of learning new and exciting stuff about my birthday, like what semi-precious stone it meant I was associated with, or what classical element I had an affinity to. But by far my favorite was when I first...
That's it. I mean, like, I could see them sort of being on like the same spectrum, but they're at opposite ends of said spectrum. I mean, either way, it's a whole lot of, you know, just, you know, a specific time and space that makes that spot a little more special than any other kind of spot. But I mean, at least with the Chinese one, there's like history and like it existed for thousands of years. Astrology, I mean, while there's, you know, some connections to historical events, I mean, like, if I remember correctly, I think, like, from another, like, overly sarcastic productions video, I think they were, Red was talking about how astrology really only became a thing in, like, the 60s by, like, a bunch of hippies. I mean, kind of the same thing, but, you know.
Just heard the story we're going to talk about today. See, there's a pretty widespread folktale explaining why the animals of the Chinese zodiac are in the order that they're in, and therefore why specific years have specific animals associated with them. And that's when I learned that I'm a year of the rat kid. You try telling a kindergartner that their magical, super cool zodiac animal is a rat and see what face they make.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I will say that whenever the topic did come up, my mom did kind of poke fun at me, that I was born in the year of the pig, and you know, I mean, but apparently that's not what the year of the pig actually stands for. Yeah, I mean, it's like, people born in the year of the pig are innocent and enjoy happiness. They are laid back, caring, considerate, and kind, which makes them the best friends to have. Unfortunately, no one is perfect. People born in the zodiac are also immature, simple-minded, and not financially intelligent. Actually, reading that out loud, I'm probably gonna have to take a while and think about like how accurate that actually is to me.
Some people have tigers or dragons, and I got a rat. This displeased my baby sense of aesthetics. Not only was my animal the smallest of the bunch, it was categorically the lamest. Didn't even have good heel qualities like the snake. But my ears were perked when I was informed that actually the rat is the very first animal in the Zodiac cycle, because the animals all had a great race and the rat won. That brightened me up very quickly. Maybe it was okay being a year of the rat kid, if it meant being a born winner. This is around the time I realized that because of the way school works, almost everyone else in my kindergarten classroom was also a year of the rat kid, so my bragging rights for that dried up pretty quickly.
I mean, yeah, when you're grouped up with a bunch of kids of literally the same age, yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about the Great Race. Now, as an incredibly widespread folktale, the Great Race does not have a singular source that I can just pull off the shelf and summarize as a definitive version. The ordering of the animals is always the same, obviously, but there are a lot of different variations on the exact details of the story, so today we're going to talk about one of them with the understanding that there are a ton of them, and we're all going to be cool about it. Okay? Alright, now our story begins.
I will not be cool. No, right.
As so many do, with a decree from the Jade Emperor. See, he's decided he wants some new heavenly spirits around to guard the years of the calendar, and the earlier the prospective hires show up, the better their rank will be. News of this impromptu race spreads, and a multitude of animals start making their way to the Jade Emperor's heavenly palace. But this isn't just a simple overland sprint. The way is barred by a swift river, probably because all the mountains were busy making Journey to the West more complicated, so the animals need to find a way to ford the rushing waters. The rat and the cat are by far the worst swimmers of the bunch, and they know it, so the night before the race they put their heads together and come up with a scheme to hitch a ride with one of the other animals. The rat promises to wake the cat first thing in the morning, and they bunker down for a good night's sleep. But either because it slipped the rat's mind, or because the rat didn't want to do the competition, the rat slips away in the morning with the cat napping peacefully and none the wiser. Personally, I feel like the rat is entirely blameless in this situation. Cat should have set an alarm. The race begins and the animals plunge into the water. First on the ticket is the ox, who's sturdy enough to just kind of brute force it. He pushes his way through and makes his way to the other side, but it turns out the ox had a hitchhiker. The noble and extremely charismatic rat was hanging out just behind his ear, and when the ox makes landfall on the other side of the river, the rat leaps off and sprints to the finish line, taking home the gold with the ox in a comfortable second place. Bringing up third is the tiger, who had a very unpleasant time fighting the current, but was just badass enough to make it to the other side through sheer strength alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also the thing, like, tigers are actually really good at swimming. Like, wait a second, if I remember correctly, don't they actually have, like, webbed toes or something? No, do they? Actually, let me double check this. Yeah, I was right, they have partially webbed toes. Yeah, so I mean, it's weird, but like, you'd think tigers, at least, of all the big cats, they would have been the best at swimming because they like to swim in real life, which again is weird given that they're a cat.
And hot on the tiger's heels is the rabbit, who was making good time hopping from rock to rock, but had a bit of a spill and barely survived by clinging to a log until it reached the other shore. In inexplicable fifth place is the divine dragon, who can fly, so what's his excuse? It's actually pretty good. He got delayed because he was granting life-giving rain to the people of Earth who needed it, and then at the last minute he got held up again because he happened to see this rabbit drowning and gave it a little bit of a rescue. Acts of do-gooding are as good a reason as any to turn up late, and the dragon gets fifth place.
Oh, there
this
you
is around
go,
the time the horse makes it through the water, but just before he can reach the shore, he has a moment of clarity and realizes he didn't somehow acquire a fashionable new ankle bracelet and instead has a snake on his leg. And this freaks him out so much that the snake flies merrily into sixth place and the horse has to be happy with seventh. Things get a smidge complicated with the next few runners. Apparently, the goat, the monkey, and the rooster had some sort of power of friendship moment and decided to work together, finding and steering a raft across the river and not betraying each other even a little bit. The Jade Emperor is pleasantly surprised and gives the goat 8th place, the monkey 9th, and the rooster 10th. Yeah, that's right, rooster. That's what teamwork gets you. Oh.
I want to bet that it was the order of whoever stepped off the raft first. But again, you gotta love the power of friendship, and also whenever I see, the way Red draws a monkey, the first thing I think of is Journey to the West.
11th place is taken by the dog, who, despite being a dang good swimmer, is also a dog who got turned loose in a water park, so he ran a little late. And finally, bringing up the rear is the boar, who made it a self-care day, eating a big breakfast, having a nice nap, and really just taking the day at his own pace. And you know what? It worked! Take that, grind set, with the menagerie assembled and
Congratulations! Actually, yeah, I mean, thinking about it, the whole thing was like, oh, yeah, the pig, he got last in the race. But, like, at least in this version of the tale, the Jade Emperor never specified which animals were in the race. He just, gave the call out to basically every animal in the animal kingdom. So, the fact that I mean, the fact that the pig arrived at all out of like literally everything else that could have like come up before it, I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Ordering solidly established, the 12 Zodiac animals are placed in their permanent position, and the rat gets to enjoy that sweet gold place victory forever, which I'm sure was tempered only slightly by the cat's vow of eternal blood feud vengeance for being sabotaged into sleeping through the whole race, incidentally providing a handy explanation for why there is no cat in the Chinese Zodiac, and further why cats of all stripes have such a fondness for disemboweling their little furry former friends, which sounds like sore loser behavior to me. Or maybe the cat chases the rat because they're just so used to the view from last place. Oh, I don't know. Who said that? Well,
oh God. Oh God. You know, I gotta love these types of. I gotta say again, I love these types of stories. I mean, the world has existed for so long, and there's just so much out there. I mean, it's kind of hard to find everything. Like, I'm just happy that I have places like you on YouTube like this where I can like at least find and like listen to these little bits of history basically spoon-fed to me. But also, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I really gotta figure out like what is the symbolism behind the elements and what are the elements of the Chinese Zodiac? Because I thought it was just like the four, again, as I said, traditional ones. But evidently, if wood is an option, that's not it then. So wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. It is believed that these elements not only affect a person's destiny, but also makes the universe and its creatures constantly cycle. What do they mean? Exceptionally gifted idealists and planners? Oh well, really? Oh. Water, sympathetic, perfectionist, and coordinator. Water, courageous, passionate, good at research. Earth, kindness, tolerant, honest, leader. Metal, determined, persistent, workaholic manager. I mean, out of all of those, I almost feel like metal got a little shafted there with manager. But there you go. I mean, as I said, I am a wood pig, and I actually, having listened to all of that, I'm actually quite happy with that. So yeah, that was a nice little short video I reacted to, because I'm going to be quite honest here, I'm getting a little burnt out on all of these things that are like an hour plus long. Like, I know like the whole like video essay thing on YouTube works because, you know, people watch all the way through, but it's tiring. I mean, like, I can only imagine how bad it is for them who actually, you know, have to make the original video itself. That'll be it for now. So, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.